Hi there folks, my name's NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 1st of March 2020 for another exciting episode, and we're going to jump straight into it with some X-Plane releases this week. And hot off the presses from the guys over at Tolis was their rendition of the Airbus A321. Now this is I believe their second aircraft release, and they gear themselves, or they very much pitch themselves to the market that I don't like to talk about, the study level sim. Now this is a fully licensed edition of the Airbus A321, so it is licensed from Airbus directly. Now they claim to have an unparalleled amount of realism for their aircraft here, and they build on the back of their highly successful A319 release several years ago. Now, a couple of highlights that come through this one is a highly detailed rendition of the flight management computer, or the FMGS as it's called in this aircraft. Full fly-by-wire implementation, a commercial-grade sound set from Turbine Sound Studios for both CFM and IAE engines are included in the release as well. Full support of SID-Star and all approaches and operation and navigation systems. Full set of altitude and speed constraints as in line with the real aircraft and how it deals with them. Ability to change selected stars while already in a stars, which is a very accurate or very detailed rendition of the FMC in that one. Two independent MCDUs and autopilots are modelled in the aircraft as well. Fully customised fly-by-wire and avionics systems throughout, and hydraulics modelling, brake temperature modelling, and custom TCAS and traffic avoidance systems are included as well. And also all done with extremely high detail 3D modeling, both internally and externally, with a range of full support of PBR and 4K texturing throughout as well. So a lot of stuff going in here, designed to be able to be in various different startup configurations as well. Everything from cold and dark all the way through to ready for takeoff. So if you're after a very detailed Airbus experience for your X-Plane 11 flight simulation experience, you probably can't really go wrong with this one here. Coming in at a launch price of $79 US, or your original equivalent, available now from the xplane.org. Continuing on with X-Plane 11 aircraft releases, we saw the release this week of a little trainer aircraft, so going from one extreme to the other. We saw the release of the Zlin Z-142, which is a two-seat trainer from, I want to say it's a Czechoslovakian company originally, but I'm possibly wrong with that one. But just for some reason, Czechoslovakia's a Czech company is sitting in the back of my mind with it when I refer to when I see the name Zlin. But anyway, so it was a two-seat trainer that was originally started as the Z-42, developed during the 1960s, evolved in the 70s into the Z-142, and it's actually still being produced in in a couple of different variations to this day. So it's a pretty long-serving aircraft, this one. Now this one, the rendition of the 142 is a rendition, as it said, their most popular product. It's a side-by-side seating arrangement with a 3-blade constant speed prop and an updated Lycoming engine profile for this one. So looking pretty damn spectacular. It looks absolutely stunning. So this is a highly accurate 3D model, includes 4K PBR textures throughout. The flight model's been customized and tested by actual real-world Zlin pilots to actually make sure its accuracy is as accurate as it possibly can be. A slew of custom animations, full interactive 3D virtual cockpit, set up and designed for VR and non-VR use as well, so it doesn't matter how you enjoy your aviation, you can enjoy this one. For those who do use VR, or whether you use VR or not, it does support AviTab plugin as well, full support for Reality XP gauges as well, custom payload sheets and different panels, whether you want to be using a Western European or an Eastern European style, are included with this release as well. So you get a lot of bang for your buck, and the best price about this one is that this is a freeware release, so brought to us by a couple of developers, a couple of community members, PWDT and NH Adrian, that released this one. So it's pretty damn awesome. As I said, spectacular release, particularly considering the price. This one's available over the xplane.org, available now. Continuing on with another X-Plane 11 release, the guys over at AnyBuilds have come out with a sound pack this week. So this is a sound enhancement pack for the default 747-400 that ships with X-Plane 11, designed to represent the engine sounds of the General Electric CF6 engines that were common on the 747-400s, using the F-Mod plugin to produce a full surround sound 360 degrees of varying audio from sound cones. It also includes an overhaul of the internal sounds as well, including accurate, up-to-date and accurate recordings of switches, buttons, and levers throughout the cockpit, and includes dynamic cabin sounds as well. So this one's coming in at about $13 US, available direct from AnyBuilds. Continuing on with X-Plane 11 releases, Frank Danesi has come out with his latest scenery release for X-Plane 11, with releasing the Drei Zinnen park from the Dolomites mountains in Italy. So this is a sort of pretty impressive. So the Frank Danesi and his sort of scenery group are known for producing a lot of high quality mountain scenery, and this one is nothing less than that as well. So this covers about 1,000 square kilometers, which is the eastern parts of the Dolomites. Includes an ultra high resolution 3D terrain mesh for the two main mountains in that area. Includes 15 custom 3D models of the Dolomites, all with 4K textures. So all the mountains in this area, not just two. Includes two major airports, which is for fixed wing operations, including Dobieco and Valcases. And it also includes a variety of heliports around the mountains as well, so very different operations are there, including a wide range of tourist locations, and vegetation mappings will be done accurately as well, including over 100 custom 3D buildings throughout the scenery. So if you're looking for a bit of mountain flying on the Italian in the Italian Alps or the Dolomites, this is going to be a scenery you're going to want to pick up, coming in at $25 US, or your original equivalent, available now from xplane.org. Continuing on with X-Plane 11 releases this week, the guys over at Runway 26 Simulations came out with their latest release. This one is the Puerto Plata International Airport for X-Plane 11. I don't have a lot of information about this. Like, they released about half dozen screenshots, and the screenshots look pretty good, but very little information about this. No information about like when the airport is modeled. I'm going to take a guess and say it's at least 2019-esque, but they are advising that they have custom 3D models of all airport buildings, and full implementation of high-definition ground textures, full use of PBR materials on all buildings as well, support for autogate jetways, static aircraft, and custom night lighting. I'd love to give you more information, but seriously, there's just zip. Like, there is just no information about it, either from the company's website or from the product page. So, sorry, but at the same time, the price is pretty good. So it's $11, available now from SimMarket. Continuing on with X-Plane 11 releases, and this one's an interesting one. This one, actually, which I kind of thought already existed, but I looked around and found out that it didn't. So this is the carrier control plugin for X-Plane 10 and 11. So basically what this does is that there's a fairly highly detailed model of a Nimitz class carrier that ships with X-Plane 10 and 11, and it's one of the custom starts that you can actually choose in X-Plane 10 and 11, actually start on a carrier deck. You can also start under the wing of a B-52, but we'll let that one go for now. So what this does, and there's various these carriers are spawned throughout the world as well, so you can actually sort of go and do some carrier ops. However, you could never control them, and because there was no scenery track like you do in the in the ESP platform, you couldn't necessarily always predict what the carrier traffic was going to do. This gives you the ability to actually sort of take control of the spawned carrier, and you can actually sort of control where it's going, you control its speed, change its course. You can actually secure your aircraft to the flight deck so you can move around, you're not going to slide off and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool, kind of awesome plugin. ESP users are probably going to be sort of scratching their heads a little, because we have a free tool that allows us to do this called AI Carriers 2. But yeah, it's interesting that there was no. I was surprised that there was no equivalent tool for this already for X-Plane 10 11. So if you either want to do carrier ops in X-Plane, this is possibly going to be one that you do want to pick up. So a couple of notes about this one, which is a little weird though. So the speed is all done in sort of meters per second, but it does show knots as well. Now you can either change this part's a little weird. Not quite sure why he did this. So the developer did this. So the carrier speed can be changed from 15 meters per second astern, so backwards, and then or 62 meters per second forward in 1 meters per second increments. Basically, that translates to 30 knots backwards to 120 knots forwards. I just what? Okay, so just okay. So seriously, like the carrier, like the actual ship cannot exceed, I think it's 28 or 29 knots forwards. That's all the ship is in real life is actually capable of going. So the fact that this AI one this plugin allows it to go 30 knots backwards or 120 knots forwards. Like literally, you don't even have to shoot yourself off a catapult. You can just pull your stick back a little and just let the forward momentum lift you off the deck. So I have a couple of issues with that, but anyway. Otherwise, it does have some important stuff. You can change the carrier heading. It does one thing that's really kind of cool though, is it looks around where the ship is going and will actually let you know if there's terrain blocking you or will block you. And if it does look like you're going to hit terrain, it'll let you know. It'll give you a countdown towards that, so you can actually maneuver the ship out of the way of it. Includes plugin for radar as well. Includes magnetic true support for magnetic and true angled headings, sort of heading directions. As I said, it allows you to lock your aircraft to the deck, so you can teleport, and you can teleport yourself to the carrier or teleport the carrier to you, so you can do your own custom ops. So as I said, kind of cool, kind of interesting. It looks like it's going to have a few bugs. $11 if you want to pick it up. Available now from Sim Markets. Rounding out the X-Plane 11 release news for this week. So this is a little bit of a release, but I did want to highlight this one. Not that I know. It does pop up from time to time. So one of the things, of course, about X-Plane 11 is that X-Plane 11 is multi-platform. So it is available on not just Windows PCs. It's also available for Linux and also available for Apple Mac. So Just Flight recently, a lot of products get released for X-Plane 11, rightly or wrongly, only ever seem to work with the Windows version. They either struggle to work with the Mac version, or just a lot of developers just don't even support the Mac version. What's interesting is Just Flight recently, late last year, they released their Traffic Global for X-Plane 11 for the Windows platform, and they've actually now come across and they've ported across onto the Mac version as well. So no new content. So this one, as I said, it's still this incredibly great, awesome traffic system that it comes with. Over 65 aircraft, over 860 liveries, and over 600,000 possible flights from all the global airports in X-Plane 11 for that ship with this one. But now it's available for Mac users. So if you are an X-Plane 11 Mac pilot, then this is probably the traffic add-on that you've been waiting for. So this one's coming in at standard price of about $53 or your original equivalent. Available now from Just Flight. Continuing on with aircraft releases, but this time moving into the ESP world, and sticking with Just Flight. So there goes over Just Flight and DC Designs partner up to release their rendition of the FA-18 Super Hornet family, which includes the Echo, Foxtrot, and E-18 Golf, so E-18G Growler editions. So the Super Hornet obviously is a it's super. So what the Super Hornet enhances and built upon the establishment of the F-18 Hornet family, the legacy Hornets A through D, by giving them a new lease on life, by giving them a bigger airframe, a more capable airframe, and giving them new roles, especially in terms of the Growler. So the Super Hornet, the Rhino, and the Growler sort of came across and have been used by various navies, the US Navy and various air forces around the world to provide a comprehensive fighter and strike and electronic warfare support aircraft. DC Designs has sort of targeted and gone for an interesting way of doing things, and a style of development that I fully endorse as well. So many people will say that the Super Hornet, if you want a Super Hornet, you have to go for the VRS one because it's the most super accurate one. And look, I'm not going to deny that the VRS Simulations Super Hornet and their associated weapon system TAC Pack has been absolutely outstanding. I loved the VRS Super Hornet when I was using it. I have a couple of problems with VRS and how they do things, particularly with in terms of the version of prepared that you purchase. I'm going to kind of stay out of that, but basically, TLDR, if you abide by the actual terms of use of Lockheed Martin and purchase the version of prepared that you're supposed to buy if you're not in high school then or university, then you have to pay. Well, actually, no. You flat out cannot purchase TAC Pack or the VRS Superbug for that version of prepared. You flat out can't. So yeah, that's where I have a problem with the way VRS sims do business. So while they are the most accurate rendition of the Super Hornet out there, unfortunately, they can be sometimes unattainable. So what I like about the way DC Design's approached it is they've done an accurate modeling, 3D model, and true to life, sort of feeling of the cockpit. But the systems are accurate, but not necessarily a full. What the community seems to be obsessed with the phrase study level. It's still accurate. It still has a lot of functionality, but it just may not be the same that you might get as from VRS. It still has vast majority is accurate, and it's going to be enough for people who don't actually fly the real type. So that's what I like about developers. A lot of developers just go, you know what, you can still be accurate, you can still have a high quality add-on, highly accurate add-on without having, without modeling every single nut and bolt. So, bit of a controversial opinion, I know that one, but yeah, as I said, I think this is one, and I think that from what I've seen so far, DC's design seem to have struck a good balance on that one. So as I said, it still comes with a highly accurate 3D model internally and externally of all three variants of the aircraft. Includes a wide variety of custom animations, including canopy, crew ladder, launch bar, wing fold, tail hook, control surfaces, etc., etc., etc. Animated configurable front and rear pilots and weapon systems officers for the two-seat variants. Includes authentic and accurate night lighting and great frame performance on all systems. All instruments conducted in 3D, including working rear view mirrors in the prepared V4 variant as well. Accurately modeled systems and custom-coded radar for live intercepts for both air and ground targets, custom moving map, multi-function MFDs based on real aircraft systems. As I said, looking cool, looking awesome, and going to be more than sufficient for everyone for a home desktop simulation, I think, as well. Now, as I said, it includes 3 variants, 3 liveries for each variant, as well as a paint kit. This one's available for the full gamut of ESP platforms, coming in at $41 US, or your original equivalent, available now from Just Flight. Continuing on with ESP releases and over to one of my favorite scenery developers, the Malaysian Flight Sim Group, and their latest release of Darwin International Airport for the full gamut of ESP sims, including FS9. Like, this is why I love these guys. They're still supporting FS9. Okay, so this is a highly detailed rendition of Darwin International Airport as it appears in January 2020, so stupidly up to date. Includes photoreal street scenery of the airport and the city of Darwin. Includes custom auto-gen trees over the photoreal terrain, custom airport ground poly, fully supported compatibility with AI traffic, static vehicles, static aircraft, and support for both static jetways and GSX Level 2 jetways as well. Full support of full accurate all airport buildings as they appear at the start of 2020. Includes PBR texturing on the terminal buildings as well, for prepared v4.4 and above, and full support for SODE content as well. So this is pretty damn awesome. It is designed to work with Orbix's Australia and Australia V2. They do have some custom install notes as well. If you do have Orbix's Australia V2, you do have to do a little bit of custom disabling of the Orbix's Darwin files. So just bear that in mind as well. And otherwise, yeah, looking, there's a really awesome setup. This one, so coming in pretty standard price for these guys, coming in at $15 US, or the original equivalent, available now from Sim Markets. Continuing on with ESP releases, the guys over at Mag Mexico have come out with their latest airport release, which is the release of General Pedro Jose Mendez International Airport for the ESP platforms, FSX and Prepared in all its forms. So this airport services the city of Ciudad Victoria in Tamaulipas. I am absolutely certain I got that wrong again. Anyway, it's operated by a federal government corporation. Not a lot of information about this here at the moment. I'm sorry, guys. So the press release from these guys was very, very minimal. Includes detailed 3D vegetation for the airport and surrounding area. All buildings within the airport are modelled. Custom 3D static aircraft are included. Custom lighting modelling has been done for all airport lighting. Detailed and accurate information signs and accurate buildings, and including full support for night texturing and night lighting as well. So this one's coming in about $14 or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Markets. Moving into Prepared V4 exclusive releases this week. So Next Gen Simulations have rebooted their Citation CJ4X and brought it over to the Prepared V4 64-bit platforms with their release of their V2 this week. So this is a reboot, as I said, of their previous Cessna Citation CJ4X, which is the Cessna Citation Model 525 Charlie. Gives you good, accurate modeling of systems, updated 3D modeling. Basically, as I said, this is a reboot, so not a lot of new stuff. It does have some new V4 exclusive content, including overhaul of all texturing to make it all PBR compliant. Includes now rain effects on the windshield during weather events, custom dynamic lighting support both internally and externally as well, and full support integration of FS Labs spotlights as well as a new dispatcher app tool to be able to set your aircraft's weight and balance and keep your product up to date. Otherwise, it's a pretty good and accurate rendition of the aircraft, including a replica Collins Proline 21 flight management system, updated 3D and 2D cockpits, and a variety of authentic sound sets as well. So if you are a new user to this one, you're looking at paying about $26 or your original equivalent, or if you're an existing user of the legacy 32-bit version, you can get this for about half price. You get about a 50% upgrade price, available now from your previous retailer, available now. Alrighty, continuing on with Prepared V4 exclusive releases, the guys over at FSim Studios have released their latest airport, which is Kelowna International Airport in British Columbia. So this scenery is a highly detailed representation of the airport as it appears at the end of 2019. Also includes Kelowna General Hospital heliport as well, so there's plenty in there for for helicopter users as well. You've got about 330 square kilometers of photoreal ortho imagery covering the entire city of Kelowna, as well as the airport itself. Includes high quality terrain mesh in covering the entire Okanagan Valley and parts of the Rocky Mountains included as well. Includes custom 3D night lighting, custom land class, and custom variety of custom 3D objects for including major major visual references and known buildings for the city of Kelowna, including the William R. Rennet Bridge and a variety of shopping malls and hotels. Whew. Okay, all of this is done in 4K texturing as well, and full implementation of PBR dynamic effects, including dynamic wet effects, depending on if you have wet weather conditions, and snow effects are supported as well. Full dynamic lighting, as I said before, and full support for SODE jetways and windsocks as well. Funnily enough, I don't know how this is an interesting topical thing that I wanted to highlight here. So this airport serves as a hub for WestJet. Just as a side note, WestJet was one of the early delivery customers of the now infamous Boeing 737 MAX 8s, and is being used by WestJet to actually store those aircraft while they are grounded. And this scenery includes a apron with grounded 737 MAX 8s on it. So very topical note on that one. So there you go. If you wanted to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $20 or your original equivalent, available now from FSim Studios. And rounding out the Prepared V4 releases this week, the guys over at, and I have to say, I love the company name for this group. Low End PC Studios have released Julianka Airport, which is it's a Peruvian airport, which is one of the highest elevation airports actually in the world, actually. And services the city of Juliaca, which is 32 kilometers west of Titicaca Lake. Not a lot of information about this airport, but from the images that I'm seeing, it has a full support of, so it does full PBR texturing support, also supports weather conditions, PBR effects, wet effects, and from PBR texturing as well. Full dynamic weather effects, and includes detailed ground poly, for all airport buildings, custom models, and designed to be fully compatible with Orbix Global and Orbix Vector as well. As I said, the company name, and they claim that it has great performance on all systems, big and small. It looks like they don't really include anything outside the airport, and the photo reel sort of is a little bit fuzzy. But the quality of the buildings, if you're looking for, and they don't do a lot of airports, but they seem to do a lot of airports that are a bit odd and sort of ones that aren't going to be covered by anybody else. And you can't really go, and the price isn't too bad either. So looking at $14 US or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. All right, moving on with flight simulators of a different pack. The guys over at War Thunder released a couple of packs this week. So these are always interesting, these packs. So this is they released 2 beginners packs this week. So the first one they released was the British Beginners Pack, which gives you access to a Tier 2 aircraft and a Tier 2 tank. So they released they gave you the Avenger Mark II bomber and the Cromwell Mark V RP3 rocket tank. The choice of aircraft I thought was a bit odd because it's not actually a British aircraft. So the Avenger was most famously a American torpedo bomber, but many of them were supplied to the British under the Lend-Lease program in 1943. They actually did not serve very much, actually. British found them unwieldy and not very effective in their chosen role. So, as kind of many ways, the American cousins found the same as well. So it's an interesting choice that for a British aircraft, they give you an American aircraft. Anyway, in game, you've got 2 forward-firing 12.7mm machine guns. You've got one 7.62 in a ventral turret, and one 12.7 in a stern turret as well. You're also looking at 4 500-pounders or a single Mark 13 torpedo. For the other vehicle that you get is a tank. The Cromwell Mark V rocket tank was an experimental tank. Only one of them was ever made. I had to double check whether or not this was actually legit or not, but no, it was experimented with. So the British strapped 4 rocket projectile Mark IIIs or RP3 rockets that were used most famously by Hawker Hurricanes and Typhoons and Tempests on anti-tank duties. They strapped 4 rockets to the side of the turret of a Cromwell tank to give it that little bit of extra punch and extra firepower. Experiment didn't go very far, but interesting that it's come to life inside of War Thunder. So yeah, along with these 2 vehicles, you also get 120,000 silver lions, which is sort of part of their sort of semi-premium currency, and you get a premium account for 7 days once you activate it. Couple of notes here: if you have either of these vehicles already, you do not get any refunds, or if you've already got a premium account, you don't get their refund for that either. So there you go. That's the British pack. Now for the other pack that was released was the Japanese Beginners Pack. Similar thing as well. Again, I thought this was a bit odd, this choice here. So the aircraft that you got was the A7HE1, which was actually a Heinkel HE111-2BO fighter. So Heinkel delivered several to the Japanese for testing purposes and for research purposes, and they were never actually used in combat. So they were just used as training aircraft and a bit of technology demonstrations for their own aircraft production. So it was just odd, again, an odd choice to make as a Japanese aircraft. For a big Japanese beginners pack, they give you a German aircraft. So, not really sure what's going on here, guys. Anyway, armed with two 20mm cannons and two 7.92mm machine guns, with large ammo counts, no underwing stores. So yeah, again, so it's a tier 1, it's a rank 1 fighter as well, so not even a rank 2 fighter, so it's a bit dodgy, but anyway. And then the tank that you get is a Type 97 Chi-Ha 12cm, which basically replaced the standard 47mm gun that the Chi-Ha Kai tank was fitted with a 120mm naval cannon, because why not? And again, small numbers of these were produced and did not serve at the very end stages of the war. Same as we do with the British pack, you also get 120,000 silver lions and a premium account for 7 days. No refunds offered if you already have any of the content. Both of these packs, if you're looking at picking them up, come in at $10 US. Tell a lie. So the British pack comes in at $20 US, and the Japanese pack comes in at $10 US, or your original equivalent. Available now on Steam. Moving out of the skies and moving on to the permanent way with the release, like a couple of releases this week for Train Simulator. So the first one we saw was a new route add-on from Aerosoft for the Train Simulator 2020, with the release of the updated network of Aerosoft's fictional Im Koblenz Bergland area, or Koblenzer Mountain area. So this is a fictional route called Altenburg-Wildau, and it updates this route to actually sets the scene as if it were in about early 2000s. This gives you as I said, I can't really sort of give you any details about it because it's a fictional place, but it's designed to give you a bit of a variety of experiences, whether you want to do rail yards, train museums, passenger services, freight services. You get a whole lot of stuff to do with a variety of weather conditions. You get 140 kilometers of fictional network, including electrified main line and side routes, 2 museum lines, a high-speed line, and a marshalling yard, detailed infrastructure, authentic signaling, a lifelike foliage, 11 career scenarios also included as well, and also fully compatible with quick drive and custom scenarios as well. So this one coming in at $40 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. In another release for Train Simulator, we saw the release from the marketplace of a livery pack for the Norfolk Southern SD60E. So this is to show off a couple of Norfolk Southern liveries during the 80s and 90s, where they gave a honouring first responders livery for train number, funny enough, 911, very appropriate, and then they saw a honouring veterans honorary livery for train number 6920. You also get a custom black and green livery as well. So not much. Just wanted to add a bit of spice, a bit of color to your trains. You can pick this one up now, coming in at $5 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And rounding out the NovaWrap for this week, saw a release of it's an interesting hybrid between simulation and strategy gaming, this one. So this week we saw the release into early access of Naval Battles Simulator. So this one very much sort of leverages off the ideas similar to Command Life, modern operations. The idea of a sort of a commander's view and overview of the battle space and giving orders as an admiral or sort of as a commander of a fleet or something like that. Now, this one is a historical set during the Second World War. At the moment, it gives you the options to actually give you access to, so you can either choose like small scenarios, you can do a full campaign for the duration of the war. You get access to serving in the Republic of Poland, the Third Reich, or so the German Navy during the Second World War, or the Royal Navy. So there are your three options. You've got a campaign sort of map to go through overall, and then you also have tactical sort of simulated combat as well. This tactical simulations is rather interesting as well, sort of going through that very much sort of top-down map. You give orders, but it's may not necessarily be followed because there's a lot of AI interaction going in there in the background as well. Gives you opportunity, you can create your own fleet as well based on other sides in the conflict as well, so you can sort of do a custom battle as well, or if you don't want to do the campaign story. But the main campaign story is a Royal Navy story and set around a single sailor and his journey throughout the war. So kind of interesting. As I said, I think it's, as I said, it's very early days, very early development at the moment, so we'll have to see where it goes. I think it's got a lot of potential, but it also could go sideways very quickly, this one. So, but again, it's very niche genre, this one, and I think it's getting a little cluttered at the moment, this genre, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But if you are wanting to pick this one up and give this a try, you're looking at $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, that rounds up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, if you like this video and want to support the video and the work that I do here on the channel, don't forget to head over to patreon.com/NovaWing24 and give your support. You can also support over on my website, NovaWing24.com. Otherwise, folks, thanks very much for joining me. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.